Hi, this is Gail Romero, and I wanted to introduce myself to you and say I am so sorry that I'm not able to be there with you today, but it's incredibly important that I share some important information that many of you are going to be thinking about throughout the day. Gender economics is an important component of what's happening in the world today. We often have forgotten the forgotten middle are the women who are entrepreneurs, who are trying to develop their businesses and their leadership skills. I have left my presentation with you in the form of a document that I know will be available for each of you. So I'm not going to go through all of that information, but let me tell you a little bit about what's in it. In 2010, 104 million women from 59 global economies started businesses. 80% failed in the first year. In 2012, 127 million women started businesses from 63 global economies. 80% failed in the first year. Now, that's incredible data that we have not addressed as a global economy. The important component here, the thing to think about, is the fact that when those women have failed, gender-based violence went up and GDP went down. And that impacts the financial well-being of every nation. So I think it's incredibly important that we think about this as we talk about gender economics in our conversations and our dialogue as we move forward. There are 5 things that can be applied to those women to help them be more successful. Dun & Bradstreet did the research. So this has been proven that these things will make a big impact. The first one is building a network. And I'd like to ask each of you that are here today, if you do not have a LinkedIn profile, build one. Because it is so amazing how easy it is to build a network of women around the world that will be interested in the business and leadership skills that you have and that you can grow and that you can build that network. So that's number 1, is networks. There are other ways to do it. Twitter, if you don't have a Twitter account, start one, because it's another way of growing your network and the important messaging that you can instill in the dialogue within your communities, your regions, and your nations. Number 2 is mentors. Now, I work with an organization called Collective Changes. I'm actually the founder. And the reason I founded that organization is because I really think that mentoring and networks are incredibly important. So get a mentor. If you don't have one, come to Collective Changes and become a mentor. But donate your time. Be a volunteer, because that's the only way we are going to change the status of ourselves and or another woman. And I truly believe we can be better if we help each other. So number 3, the statistic that Dun & Bradstreet came out is business skills. Many times we have great ideas, we're persistent, we have perseverance, we have hope, we have passion, we have creativity, but we need to make sure that we have the appropriate business skills to carry that business forward. One of the things that we're doing at Collective Changes is ensuring that women around the world have access to those skill sets. And that is through the SME Toolkit, which was developed by Google, Visa, American Express, and IBM for the World Bank and IFC. They have given this to us to give to other women. So if you are a woman and you don't have all of the business skills, you don't have the plan, you don't understand your competition, you don't have good financial literacy, or it could be improved, find out about the SME Toolkit and take advantage of it. And the 4th thing that we need to have are access to credit. Now, many of you may have access to credit already because you're here as women leaders from around the world. If you do, talk to your bank, talk to your nation, talk to your sphere of influence and say, we need more banks to come forward and say, we need to be able to get beyond microfinance. Microfinance is great for that woman who is at the bottom of the pyramid, but we're talking about the forgotten middle. We're talking about women who have resources, that they're intelligent, they have great ideas, but they don't have access to the credit that they need, and that would be over $10,000. They don't have access to that unless it's through their family. But that eliminates many women. So we need to start talking about these things. We need to get the message out. Again, it's building your networks, having mentoring, understanding business skills, and access to credit. And the fourth or the fifth one is understanding your competition. And what that really means is being able to recognize that you have a differentiating factor for your idea. And part of that differentiation is you alone. It might be your service. It might be your approach. Whatever it is, understand that that differentiates you and that makes you different and better able to be competitive in the marketplace. So we need to be able to build each other up and to grow businesses as leaders. So I'm asking each one of you, as a special favor to me, to sign up at www.collectivechanges.net as a global ambassador. We need more women like you. We need women who are willing to help other women. And because of that, one of the things you can do, sign up. Now, statistically, sitting in this room, 85% of decisions that are being made by women just like you in your families, and you impact the other 15%. Now, if you were making those kinds of bold decisions, and that's impacting the economies and the businesses, the corporations that we are purchasing from, then we should have a say. We should be in their C-suite. We should be on their boards of directors. And if they don't have women in those positions, then don't buy the products. It's that simple. You have the power in your checkbook. You have the power in your purse. Use it. We have an opportunity. No, we have an obligation to start taking control and taking power over supporting the kinds of corporations and businesses and decisions that are happening in our world. No one else is going to do it. It's up to us. So, I'm not a militant. I'm just a woman who understands that I am in a world that should have equity. I'm not talking equality because we're not equal. Men's brains and women's brains work differently. I understand that. There's a great book called Leadership in the Sexes. It is about the brain of men versus the brain of women. And I'll tell you just a quick story. I know you're going to love this. You can read about it as well, or you can buy the book. But the story is about research done on a man's brain and a woman's brain in negotiation mode. And it's very different. Men, when they go into high negotiation mode, use the frontal lobe of their brain, and their verbal skills go down, and their hunting and territory skills go up. They have an increase in hormones. Usually it's testosterone and vasopressin. Vasopressin is a hormone that helps them mark their territory. Now, I don't mean to be crass, but it's like a dog going out and urinating on a bush. They mark their territory that way. Other dogs will come by and smell it and know it's their territory. It's just nature. It's not much different from our men. We get down to those base hormones that help us control our world. So their verbal skills go down, their voices may raise, they may have more physical action, and that's how they negotiate. Women, on the other hand, when we negotiate, we have higher levels of oxytocin, progesterone, and estrogen. Now, those hormones are what give us our ability to connect and build that relationship between the two of us or between a group of us. But it's also a bonding hormone. Oxytocin is the same hormone that is increased when we give birth to a child. It helps us look at the child and love that child even when they're screaming through the night. And it's a way to protect that child. But it's a bonding hormone. So when we go into negotiation, our verbal skills go up. We want to bond. And when the dog urinates on the bush, we worry about the bush. But here's the key. A man works the frontal lobe, a woman works the back, left and right hemispheres of the brain. Together we have a whole brain. What I am suggesting to each one of you here is that you embrace men in the conversation. We are not going to have equity. Again, we're not talking about equality. We are not going to have equity until men be part of the conversation. And what could help them understand why it's important? Let's talk about gender economics. It's about the economics that women bring to the table when we are included in the business world. GDP can go up as much as 17%. Now, I've read research that says 30. I'm a little bit more conservative than that. But a 17% increase in GDP can make a huge difference in the ability for a nation to pay for better education, better social, political, and economic stability. And that's what we're about. In this world today, we have so much instability. And we as women understand that that precludes us from taking care of the family and the community and our region in a way that is beneficial for all. So we're looking at stability. So I am suggesting to each one of you that in order for us to achieve social, political, and economic stability, that you include men in the conversation. You understand that gender economics is a huge proponent of increasing GDP, and an unobvious positive outcome is reduction in gender-based violence. And this is an important concept because it is part of the Millennium Development Goals, it's part of the UN goals, and it should be part of every woman's goal, and that is reduction in gender-based violence. Violence just because you're a woman. And what we can do is reduce it. Now, when women first go into their entrepreneurial life, whether it's because of necessity or because of skill and desire, what happens is they will actually increase the propensity for gender-based violence. Because let's face it, you're going into a man's world. And men are often, because of patriarchal societies and in fact culture that has existed for several centuries, concerned about their own position in community. And if they see women going into those positions and they feel that it somehow denigrates their own, that gives them a sense of concern, as of course it would. But what we see happen is once women have established their businesses and they have started to bring money in and they're starting to see gender economics in the positive outcomes. That means more money in the family. That means more money in the community. That means more money in GDP for the nation. They become engaged in the process and become very positive about it. Because let's face it, it increases social, political, and economic stability. Why wouldn't men want this to be part of their communities, their regions, and their nations? So get them involved in the dialogue. Remember, women need networks, women need mentors, women need business skills, women need access to capital, and they need to be aware of their competition. They need to know what differentiates their business from another business so that they can succeed. So remember those things. Remember also, go to www.collectivechanges.net. Sign up and become a global ambassador with Collective Changes. Start the dialogue in your community, your sphere of influence, your region, and your nation. We can change social, political, and economic stability. It is up to us not as feminists, but as global citizens. If we want to make a difference, we are responsible for that difference. You and I, we can do this. One woman, one group of women, if we decide that this is something that we want to do, we will do it. And that perseverance can make a difference in the lives for our children and our grandchildren. And I know we all want to see stability in our world. So please join me. On our website, we have a lot of information. We have opportunities to sign up as a mentor, as a mentee. You can become a donor. Your nation can drive this within their own country. We're happy to grow this program anywhere and use our platform, which includes the SME Toolkit from the World Bank and IFC, which was developed again by Visa, Google, American Express, and IBM. It comes in 19 languages. It's culturally relevant. It provides peer-to-peer networks, and it has analytics and metrics which will allow you to track the progress for your community and your nation. It is really one of the most important components that we have brought to the table. This is a game changer, ladies. And I am the founder of Collective Changes, but I didn't come up with all of these materials. Cronus Mentoring Software, the World Bank IFC, thought leaders from around the world brought together this amazing network of powerful players that can be used by any of us to change the world. So I ask obviously I'm passionate about it. I have children and grandchildren. I want to make sure that the world has stability for them. And I'd like to see stability in my time. And so I think that we can all do this. So sign in, sign up, find donors to help pay for scholarships. It does cost about $250 per person in the program, but we're looking for corporations and governments to come in and donate that money so that those women can gain the knowledge that they need to be successful and that we need for them to be successful. So thank you for listening to me. I'm so sorry I can't be there. I would love to have met each and every one of you. I think that what CELD is doing is amazing. What each and every one of you are doing just by being here is incredibly important. We can change the world one at a time. And we're not going to tinker around the edges anymore. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great time. Network. Share, begin the dialogue, include men, and let's change the world today. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great time. I'm so sorry I missed you. Enjoy the weather, enjoy Dubai, and enjoy each other. Thanks. Bye-bye.